Good morning. This is the Chorus Call conference operator. Welcome, and thank you for joining the Tinexta's conference call on the acquisition of 20% of Defence Tech Holding. After the presentation, there will be an opportunity to ask questions. At this time, I would like to turn the conference over to Mr. Joseph Mastragostino, Chief Investor Relations Officer of Tinexta. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, operator. Good morning to all of you, and thank you for joining Tinexta's conference call relating to the acquisition of a 20% stake in Defence Tech Holdings. Here with me today, Oddone Pozzi, Group Chief Financial Officer.
Good morning, everybody.
As a reminder, all the relevant documentation relating to this conference call can be downloaded from our company website. For the purpose of this call, I will provide some key strategic statements and will go over the highlights in the form of an executive summary. And Oddone instead will go over the transaction details as well as some financials. The last part of the call will be dedicated to Q&A. A recording of this conference call will also be available on the company website, and it will be posted upon completion of this call. At this point, I will kick it off with some key statements. So we are delighted to announce another important step forward in Tinexta's strategy. And yesterday we have signed an agreement to purchase a 20% stake of Defence Tech Holdings for 4.9 euros per share, or a total of 25 million euros. Tinexta entered the cybersecurity industry at the end of 2020 with three important acquisitions, as you all know, Yoroi, Swanspan, and Corvallis, and today we are even more determined to grow in this business further. Defence Tech is a leading company in the cybersecurity space, and it develops proprietary products and provides high added value services for the defense and civil infrastructure industries, servicing both government and corporate customers. I would like to make it clear that for the time being, we are purchasing only a 20% stake from the sellers, and in 2024, based on 2023 financial results achieved, will we have an option to purchase the remaining stakes from the reference shareholders. We believe this can represent an important strategic move for Tinexta, as Defence Tech has a very interesting offer of products and services. It has an important network of high-profile customers. It brings great competences and know-how in its field of operations, and above all, together we will expand our presence in the public administration market. Lastly, Tinexta will continue to grow, selecting key strategic assets in important geographies in the various business units in which it operates, and it will continue on delivering increased value for its shareholders. As you all have received the presentation and can be downloaded from our company website, let me turn to page 3. On page 3, let's start with the deal and structure consideration. As we said, Tinexta signed a binding agreement to purchase a 20% stake of Defence Tech Holding via a wholly owned vehicle called Tinexta's Vehicle. The purchase is a purchase of a minority stake pro rata from its current reference shareholders, which are represented by the sellers. They, 2 days after the closing, will initiate a reverse accelerated book building for the pro rata purchase on the market of approximately 1.4 million shares, equal to 5.6% of the share capital at the price of 4.9 euros per share. Contextually, there will be a subscription of a call option for the remaining stakes of the selling shareholders, in this case Comuni Impresa and JEDA Europe SRL, to be potentially exercised in 2024 following the approval of the full year 2023 results. The call option price is set at 2023 EBITDA adjusted times 12 plus the pro rata adjusted net financial position. Should such call option be exercised by Tinexta, it would trigger a takeover bid or public offer to be launched on the whole share capital not owned. Should the call option not be exercised by Tinexta's Vehicle, the selling shareholders could exercise a call to purchase back the 20%, and that call will be at the higher price of the paid by Tinexta at the time of the purchase of the 20%, and the price of the Tinexta call for the 20%. Following the launch of the takeover bid, therefore the public offer, the current shareholder, Starlife, which is comprised of the company's management, has already expressed its intention to A, tender a portion of the shareholding representing 3% of the issuer's share capital in acceptance of the offer, and following the completion of the offer, confer the residual portion of the issuer's shareholder in Tinexta's vehicle. As a result of the transfer, and in the event of a successful tender offer, the vehicle Tinexta would be held by about 85% by Tinexta and about 15% by Starlife, and would hold 100% of DefenseTech, which at that point will no longer be listed. There is also a put call option in place between Tinexta and Starlife regarding Starlife's stake in the vehicle, and it is exercisable in 2029 based on the plan 2024-2028, which will be executed by managers, and it will be settled in cash at fair market value. The equity value for 100% consideration is equal to 125 million euros, or equivalent to 4.9 euros per share. The payment will be made in cash at closing. Let me follow on with the strategic rationale. From a strategic rationale and value creation, DefenseTech Holding is a listed company on the Euronext Growth Milan market, and it is an Italian operator of strategic importance for national security. It was founded in 2010 and headquartered in Rome. The company has undertaken a growth journey in order to create a pole of excellence in technological innovation. It's comprised of a group of professionals with strong technological business skills, and combined with the proprietary solutions, DefenseTech is a technology hub that is increasingly a reference point for the protection of strategic assets of institutions and private companies. The group, and this is a very important element of the equity story, has proprietary cyber communication, endpoint protection, and technology for intelligence solutions and technological laboratories dedicated to security and CEVA, so SEVA accredited. The SEVA are evaluation centers that are authorized to conduct security assessments in accordance with the provision of the National Scheme of the Evaluation and Certification of Information Technology Security. Let's carry on page 4. On page 4, we are actually concentrating on what the acquisition will allow. Definitely consolidated presence in the government sector, acting as a partner in an area of strategic importance for national security. The acquisition will also allow a key strategic customer package. In fact, DefenseTech boasts a loyal and high-standing customer package, which includes public and government bodies, institutions, and leading companies in the sectors, the Italian Navy, MBDA, and Fincantieri, just to mention a few. There is increase of brand awareness as DefenseTech is an established brand within the market, and there's an expansion of the offer and skills. The company, in fact, has a strong specialization in services and products for the protection of critical infrastructure that are highly complementary to the products and services of the cyber business unit. From a financial standpoint, the company has solid financial fundamentals. On a 1H 2022 base, value production was close to 13 million euros, growing 16% versus prior year, and EBITDA came at 4.1 million on an adjusted basis. The net financial position was cash positive at 8.1 million euros. For the fiscal year 21, the value of production reached almost 23 million euros, growing 19% versus prior year. Adjusted EBITDA was close to 7 million euros on an adjusted basis, and NFP was positive at around 12 million. On an LTM base, 1H 22, value of production was 24.4 million, and EBITDA adjusted was 7.3 million. It is important to highlight that product sales, which are the main driver of EBITDA growth, doubled in 2021 versus prior year. Following the transaction, Tinexta and DefenseTech have developed a plan for industrial and commercial synergies between the two groups. And these are potential synergies that will involve cross-selling and upselling products from DefenseTech to Tinexta Cyber's corporate clientele, as well as the other way around, from Tinexta Cyber to DefenseTech government customers. As mentioned before, the expected cash out at closing is 25 million euros for the 20% stake of Defense Tech Holding. In terms of approvals and timing, the closing is expected by the first half of 23, even though we are confident that we will be able to close before that date, and it is subject to the usual conditions of this type of transactions, including Golden Power, condition precedents, and obtaining the confirmation from Borsa Italiana's panel about the non-existence of the obligation to promote a takeover bid following the mere signing of the Tinexta call. Let's turn to page 5. On page 5, we're simply highlighting the corporate structure in terms of group's perimeter. As we said, Tinexta will establish a wholly owned vehicle. The vehicle will initially buy the 20% stake from Defense Tech. It will there carry out a call option on the remaining stakes only to be exercised in 24 based on full year 23 results, and the equity value for 100% of Defense Tech is equal to 125 million or 4.9 euros per share. Let's turn to page 6 to give you some details about Defense Tech. All this information is obviously available and already public on the company's website. Defense Tech was established in 2010 in Rome. The company creates and certifies systems of the management of classified information aimed at protecting critical infrastructure. At the end of 21, so a bit more than a year ago, it was listed on the Euronext growth market in Milan, fully through a primary offering. It is comprised of 3 main business areas: cybersecurity and technology for intelligence, communication and control system, and microelectronics. The reference market are those of cybersecurity, both in government and corporate terms, and the domains of the defense and space has a predominant national presence. Beyond Rome, the company has 4 operating centers based in Naples, Taranto, La Spezia, and Avezzano. On the right side of the slide, you can see that Defense Tech has formally 3 divisions. Donex, which carries out technology and products to protect national critical infrastructure. Foramil, which carries out end-to-end integration activities of managing complex systems. And Next, which is an engineering company specialized in complex systems design and development and integration for defense and space segments. On the bottom center of the slide, you see the current shareholders. This is a key information when Adone will carry out the different processes of the acquisition of the first stake. So, the largest shareholder is Comuni Impresa, which holds 44.73% of the share capital, followed by Star Life with 21.92% of the share capital, and Star Life, as a reminder, is the expression of the management. Then we have JEDA Europe SRL, which is 5.39%, and the free float is around 28%. Lastly, the sectors of operations of Defense Tech are defense, space, transport, PLC, and finance. At this point, I'll turn it to Adone for further details.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. Good morning again, everybody. So let's go to page 8. As already mentioned by Joseph, so we signed yesterday, an agreement to purchase the 20% of Defense Tech Holding. The perimeter obviously is the minority stake, and the price that for which Tinexta is going to acquire 20% is equal to 4.9 euro per share. That means an equity value of 125 million. We will go through the acquisition of this stake through a vehicle, and the payment that will occur at closing that is expected, within first half 2023, will bring, cash out for the group of 25 million euro. The transaction is a 3-step process. As we mentioned, Tinexta is going to acquire as a first step through a vehicle the 20%, acquiring this 20% from the current shareholders, Comuni Impresa, Star Life, and JEDA, that therefore will drop their shares from 44.7, 21.9, and 5.4 down to a lower level at 32, 16, and 4%. But at closing, signing of shareholder agreement with the selling shareholder and a call option in favor of Tinexta to be exercised in 2024 based on fiscal year 2023 result. The sellers at that point will initiate a reverse accelerated book building from the pro rata shares purchase on the market of approximately 1.4 million shares. And this is gonna change again basically the composition of the shareholding. Then Tinexta has the option to purchase the remaining shares from Comunimpresa Ingeda for a total of over 50% of the share capital. The price of the option will be calculated on 2023 results, and especially on 2023 EBITDA adjusted at 12 times multiples plus a pro rata of adjusted net financial position. Definitely a trigger of a takeover bid, a public offer will be there. After the exercise of the call option, the completion of the successful mandatory takeover bid, Star Life will remain within the share capital partnering with Tinexta, and therefore the vehicle will be 100% owned by the two shareholders, Tinexta and Star Life. That is basically Star Life is where the management is within Defense Tech, and therefore there will be also a shareholder agreement between the two parties, which is the strategic rationale of this deal. Definitely, Tinexta made a bold move into the cybersecurity space in early 21, and we have seen this part of our business growing, and Tinexta is very focused on this. Now Tinexta is trying basically to meet some targets like enlarging the offer towards system integration services also in infrastructural areas, to strengthen our offer in advisory and managed security service where, basically the demand of the market is concentrated. And definitely one goal of Tinexta is to expand the company presence in the public administration market. The acquisition of Defense Tech will basically allow the group to move much faster towards these goals. Definitely, Defense Tech has a very important and consolidated presence in the government sector, and is a partner in several areas of strategic importance for the national security. The acquisition, we will go through also the acquisition of a strategic customer package. Basically, we are talking about high-standing customer, including public and government bodies, institutions, and as well as leading companies. And we are basically entering into a company that has a solid and strong skills and capabilities from the management and all the technicians in very specialized in services and products, very complementary to products and services of our cybersecurity business unit. A strong brand, we are going to acquire a strong brand that is very well recognized around the cybersecurity space, and therefore will increase the awareness of Tinexta presence in this space. Let's move now to page 12. As already anticipated by Joseph, the company is showing a steady and strong growth both in revenue and EBITDA. In 2021, basically the revenue peaked at 22.7 million euro, with a growth very close to 20% versus previous year, and the EBITDA grew much more significantly, approximately to double at 6.7 million euro, with a positive cash position of 12.3 million. The first half, that are the last results reported, calls for approximately 13 million euro revenue with a growth of 60%, and the EBITDA grew basically on the same very interesting pace. Cash position is at 8 million, and this is mainly driven by the strong growth of the company that needs basically a quite important investment in working capital for the receivable. The company is increasing, and obviously a quite important level of capex is needed to push the revenue and the product development going up. The company also during first half acquired also a building in Rome where the headquarters is located. If we go to LTM results at the end of the first half 22, the revenue is growing compared to 21, as well as is growing also the EBITDA. So this means that the company has a steady growth, a strong growth, much ahead of double digit, and this is one of the reasons for which we invested in a company. If we go to look at the split of revenues by product and services, definitely from 19 to 21, we can see that still keeping a very high level of services, the company was able to increase the revenue also driven by products. It's a sales of cybersecurity products, basically in a way of SAS for the national cybernetic perimeter. This is very important. It means that the company is able to provide a wide range of products and services, and enables the very strong growth that the group, the Defense Tech Group, has delivered over the last years. In terms of revenue by customer, as already mentioned, government is the main industry where the group is operating, but still within the portfolio of customer there are corporate leading companies. I give the stage again back to Joseph for closing remarks.
Thanks, Oddone. So wrapping it up on page 14, this represents for us an important step in the cybersecurity market, specifically in Italy. We went over the solid financial results, so nothing to really add on that. Oddone went over the numbers in detail. This is a bold and strategic move to strengthen and improve the public administration's cybersecurity penetration. Very strong brand awareness for us to buying this important assets. And there's a strong upside on both commercial and industrial group synergies, which is a key element for further growth, and enables us to access a strategic customer set in public and government bodies. And also DTH, therefore Defense Tech, can benefit from the integration of being part of a larger group. So those were the closing remarks we wanted to highlight. At this point, I know there's already some questions and answers, so I will leave it to the operator for the Q&A. Thank you.
This is the Chorus Call conference operator. We will now begin the question and answer session. The first question is from Renato Gargiulo of Stifel. Please go ahead.
Yes, good morning. Well, my first question is, given the exposure of Defense Tech to the defense sector, we can assume that visibility on orders and the order backlog should be pretty high. Could you give us any indication, quantitative or qualitative indication, on the order backlog and on the existing client base? Can we assume that most of the customer base should be actually additional for compared to the existing Tinexta Cyber clients? Then the second question is Still on the mix, we have seen that product sales have been the main driver of EBITDA growth for Defense Tech recently. Do you see any significant room to further improve this mix and profitability going forward? Then my third and last question is on timing. Clearly, we can assume quite strong level of synergies from this deal. Can you give us an indication about the potential timing for the new, say, common plan between you and Defense Tech to develop commercial and industrial synergies? Do you expect to achieve any positive synergies already by year-end next year? And do you expect to include any impact from this deal already in the new business plan you will present at the beginning of the year? Thank you.
Okay, I try to go through. Thank you, Renato, for your questions. I would say that, you know, as of now, we are going to acquire a minority stake. You know, as myself and Joseph has already explained, this is a very important move for us, but it still is a minority stake. The goal is to work very close over the next months in order to explore the potential synergies between the two groups, both as we stated in the press release, from an industrial standpoint as well as from the commercial standpoint. In terms of backlog, obviously the company will update the market on the status of its backlog, as the company is also listed. I would say that the revenue growth has happened as of now, and you know, the guidance that Defense Tech shared with the market allows to understand that a very strong backlog is there, and the company is able to use the backlog in a very strong manner. If we look in terms of going to the second question, in terms of mix, you know, the company was able over the last couple of years to significantly increase the share of product, and this is very important, as it means that the company is able to basically combine both services and products. This allows the company to have a very large position toward its customer and to be a player that is able to support its customers with a wide range of products and services. I think that the level of growth, we do believe that the level of growth of product has happened in the past. It's not possible to double, but we expect also from the product standpoint a steady growth as we expect from other services. No, absolutely will be not included into the plan that we are going to present. Obviously, it's going to be part of our investment, but you know, this is a minority stake, and we are starting now. As stated in the press release, following the closing Tinexta Defense Tech, we start a process of exploring the synergies. I think it's too early now to address this matter.
The next question is from Alexandra Arsova of Equita. Please go ahead.
Hi, good morning to everybody. Thank you for taking my questions. A brief follow-up on the previous question, just to understand better. When you say that you are, let's say, looking for synergies in the coming months and trying to understand how you can collaborate together with Defense Tech, so should we imagine a sort of commercial agreement between the two of you? So how can we imagine these synergies to unfold? And especially when do you think you will begin to cross-sell your let's say products and services to Defense Tech's clients and vice versa? Thank you.
Yes. So thank you, Alexandra, for your question. As we stated in the press release, the synergy will be focused basically on the opportunity to have cross-selling and upselling on both sides. Product and services of Defense Tech to be sold to corporate customer of Tinexta Cyber, as well as products and services of Tinexta Cyber to be sold to government, to clients of the government package of the Defense Tech. This is what we do expect. We will work close and together in order to explore all these opportunities, and after that we will come up with a plan. When we will define this will be ready. Obviously, since day one, we are going to work close, and if opportunity will be there, we will be ready to catch them.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
The next question is from Carlo Maritano of Intermonte. Please go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Just a couple of questions from my side. The first one is on governance. I was wondering if you have any agreement on governance and if you will nominate any member of the board after the deal is closed. And the second one is on the cost of debt for the acquisition. If you could provide us the interest rate the banks will apply to the debt. Thank you.
Okay. In term of debt, that as of now, Tinexta has cash available. As of today, the group has stated will end up the year with a lot of cash. So basically, the cash is already available for the deal. As of today, the debt that will be in the range of 170 million euro at the end of the year. The bank debt, as of today, is at 1.4% cost. So there will be no additional request to the banks for funding this deal. In terms of governance, yes, we are going to have an agreement to have some participation. This will be released to the market and will be the right time.
Okay, thank you.
The next question is from Isacco Brambilla of Mediobanca. Please go ahead.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Thanks for taking my questions. I have three. The first one is on what Defense Tech brings to Tinexta, especially in terms of people and software products. So if you can elaborate a bit more on this. Second, the reference market of Defense Tech is a bit different from the one of Corvallis, Roy and Swascan. Can you give us some color on the competitive environment of their reference market? And the last question is more an accounting one. Are you going to book in your net financial position also the valorization of future call options? Thanks.
Okay, maybe I go for the last one and the second one. Maybe Joseph go ahead on the first one. And accounting was no. We will have at the closing. We will have the participation and the cash out of 25 million euro. Then, as it is a call, and the call is subject to very different situation, and the call is gonna be could be exercised only in after the approval of balance sheet 2023, and this will be a right of Tinexta to move forward. No, there is no obligation to do that. We are not going to book the debt immediately. In terms of reference market, we do believe this is a very important addition for the opportunities of Tinexta Cyber. Basically, Tinexta has not a significant presence in the government and public administration space. We do believe that the very strong standing of defense tech will allow us to have the opportunity to open a dialogue and to try to work together in potential deals. So we do see it as a very important opportunity.
Let me take the last question. What does defense tech bring? Obviously, we described the details of the company. We also said in the rationale that, in terms of the current Tinexta cyber offer, we wanted to concentrate more on the managed security services side as well as the infrastructure. And if you look at the details of defense tech through its companies that it owns, Donex, Foromil, and Next, you can see that obviously there's a huge complementarity between the two companies. We are expanding the offer, we are expanding the service. Yes, Isacco, I agree. There's also a very large, I would say, expansion in areas where probably we weren't that present, such as the military segment. But here, the bottom of the line is that the three main business areas in which it operates, namely the cybersecurity technology for intelligence, the communication and control systems, as well as the microelectronics, are all added value to have a much more competitive offer on the market. In this case, we are positioning ourselves at a much wider range, and above all, we are also bringing, knowledge and know-how in terms of product. I think, as we have highlighted in this presentation, the fact that Defense Tech has grown tremendously, its product is also justified by the implicit marginality of the group itself. We are, around more than 30% EBITDA margin, so obviously this is driven by a higher marginality from the product side. So there is a huge, I would say, complementarity of the offer. And lastly, I think it really needs, some emphasis is the fact that, Defense Tech has been accredited to CEVA, which is a very important asset that they have, as we said, as an evaluation center that basically is authorized to conduct security assessments. And this is in full accordance with the national scheme. So as regulation evolves, we think that this will represent, both for Defense Tech as well as for Tinexta, a huge opportunity to grow, and we're very confident on this.
Okay, many thanks, Don and Joseph.
You're welcome.
The next question is from Andrea Bonfà of Banca Akros. Please go ahead.
Hello, good morning to everybody, and thank you for taking my question. The first one is related to the breakdown of sales of Defense Tech. I was looking through their presentation, and it's definitely clear that the product component is growing quite fastly. But I haven't found yet what's the precise amount on total sales of the cyber activity. So if you can provide us just at least an idea how much is the cyber component on total Defense Tech sales, and as far as the other activities, which I understood are essentially system integration activity of Defense Tech, is that an area where you want to further expand, or is that a residual activity from your standpoint? And finally, if I understood correctly, the structure of the deal, there is also a situation by which you can, let's say, be stuck with 20% of the stake in Defense Tech if they do not exercise. If you do not want to exercise your call, and they do not exercise their call, you can be stuck with a 20% stake. Is that correct?
Okay, I go. Good morning, Andrea. I go through the two questions. Defense Tech is cybersecurity. Is 100% cybersecurity. if we go through the revenues, they have services like, engineering tasks. These are projects for the market of high aerospace and defense that includes activity of develop, of software integration for the cybersecurity. And this is some activity are projects, some activity are time and material, but this is all related to cybersecurity. Products are as a sale of proprietary cybersecurity product in SAS mode to the cybernetic national perimeter, both government and corporate. Then Joseph already talked about laboratories that are services of evaluation and certification of technology infrastructure of public sector, and this is, and electronics is capability to project, realize, and run maintenance of electronic solution in military space. So this group is 100% focused on cybersecurity. I hope I have been able to answer to your question.
Yes, that now is much clearer. Thank you.
Okay. And no, Tinexta will be not stuck. If Tinexta will be not in a position or will decide not to act, there is an exit option for Tinexta.
Thank you very much.
Which we are not going to exercise. And you can go to the press release. If Tinexta is not going to exercise, Comunimpresa and GEDA could exercise a call to this.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
The next question is a follow-up from Alexandra Arsova of Equita. Please go ahead.
Yes, sorry again, a couple of questions, follow-up questions. So the call option you have in 2024, so you say, of course, that you will potentially pay this 12 times EV on EBITDA, but I was just wondering, will your decision depend more on some qualitative achievements, or there is a, let's say, threshold EBITDA you would like Defense Tech to achieve in order to exercise the option? And the second one is on more on how this, let's say, this acquisition and this collaboration further change your strategy in the cybersecurity segment, since at the moment before the Defense Tech acquisition, as far as I know, the product component, proprietary product component of your activity is relatively marginal. And on the other hand, as far as I know, Defense Tech is pushing very much on proprietary products, and it has developed several cybersecurity proprietary products. So are you aiming at becoming a more proprietary product company in the cybersecurity segment, of course? And so if this helps you maybe to become a national hub for cybersecurity in Italy. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Now, the strategy of Tinexta Cyber with the three companies we have will continue as it is. We are very satisfied of the acquisition we performed a couple of years ago. We have a strong plan in front of us, and we are very focused in delivering it. This additional move that I repeat again is a minority as of today, is an opportunity. First of all, we fully trust in Defense Tech capabilities and potentials, and this is the base. Second, the company is growing very fast, and as I mentioned, the company is operating in a market where Tinexta is not, as of today, strong. So we do see opportunity to cross-sell and upsell for Tinexta Cyber, as well as there could be opportunity for Defense Tech to cross-sell and upsell on Tinexta Cyber customers. So the strategy is not changing. What is changing is enlarging the capability of Tinexta to address needs of the customer and to address opportunities to be filled up. In terms of the call of 24 based on results basically 23. No, there are no questions. It's not we will have shared to the market. It's going to be a decision of Tinexta at that time. Obviously, we fully trust in the company. We will see how things will evolve, and we will see, as we stated very clearly in the press release, following the deal, Tinexta and Defense Tech will start a process of exploration of synergies between two groups. This is the goal that we have in front of us in the next month, and the goal is trying to maximize this. Obviously, if we will be able to maximize this and we will have a full visibility, and Defense Tech will continue to deliver excellent results as they have done till now, obviously we are going to exercise the call. But now is an open matter.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mastragostino, there are no more questions registered at this time.
Thank you very much. So we would like to thank you again for connecting to Tinexta's conference call. If you have any additional questions on the transaction or require any further assistance, please don't hesitate to contact us. We wish everyone a happy new year. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to everybody. Again, thank you for your attention, and happy new year to everybody. Thanks again. Bye-bye.